Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we want to look at Rivian. Now, thanks to Rivian updates on Twitter, we've got some new look, new information on the Rivian R2 platform and subsequently the Rivian R2 vehicles that are to come. This is very interesting because we could have a sneak peek or a leak rolling around social media of the Rivian R2. Now, Rivian popularity, it's up there, to be honest. So this has naturally gotten some attention online. This was posted by Chris Hibbert, and he said, and I quote, "For the curious, here's what the Rivian R2 shape looks like the last tease from RJ Scaringe from 7 months ago." Now, to be honest, I never saw this. So I don't think I reported on this. I don't believe I saw this. The shape immediately reminds me of the Land Rover Defender. It does. It's long, it's a little bit boxy. The top half is a bit slim while the bottom becomes a little bit wider. I'm just saying that's what I see. What am I describing? I'm describing a car. So if it lives up to hype, it will sell like hotcake. That's what Chris has to say. I know. I see it competing in the space of I think that's the RAV4, the CRV, Jeep, Bronco, and probably take on a few sales from the Model Y, hoping for a full release soon. This is quite interesting because, of course, this vehicle is being released this year. Now, it already looks quite big, but when you put two human beings next to it, then looks a little bit smaller, but that's still a big SUV. I thought the R2 was always supposed to be a smaller electric SUV. This thing it still looks big. I'm not gonna lie. Now, to be honest, we still don't know what that is. We really don't know. And the fact that Rivian has been able to keep this secret for such a long time, I give them props. That's quite impressive. So here's what some people are saying that it could look like, but still, it looks huge. This vehicle is supposed to be more affordable. I know, but don't get me wrong. I'm excited for this vehicle for sure. I'm an investor in Rivian, of course, and I really like the vehicles. And to be honest, I would really like to see a smaller electric SUV in the shape of a Rivian, but a little bit smaller. Here's what I'm kind of imagining. The Land Rover Defender, but the Defender 90. Now, it's a Defender, but it's not the 100, it's not the 120, it's the 90. It's a little bit smaller. This is what I'm expecting from Rivian, a baby Rivian. This is a baby Land Rover, but it's still a huge Land Rover and it's still super expensive. So you can imagine, Rivian is looking for ways to cut costs on their R2. And as you can see, this Land Rover Defender 90, it is quite popular for being two doors or three doors. I don't know to which you prefer, but it's the same thing. It has two doors on each side. So this is a baby Land Rover and it looks like a baby Land Rover. Compare this to the 110, you're dealing with a different monster. You compare this to the 110, you're dealing with a different monster. Don't get me wrong. I think Rivian will go for the R2 to be four doors or five doors. Yeah, it's not going to be a two-door vehicle. Certainly not. They're not there yet. They don't have the market share to properly offer that kind of vehicles and the confidence it takes to offer that type of vehicle. Land Rover is perfect to offer that type of vehicle. They've got the infrastructure and the fan base to do so. But you get my point. That's what we're looking for is a baby R2, a baby Rivian. Does that look like a baby Rivian? It still looks huge. Don't get me wrong. It looks kind of cool. But in terms of size, it doesn't have a lot of difference with the R1S. So yes, it's unveiling this year. Will be between 40 to 60K depending on configurations, I'm guessing. It will come with NACS. Initial 200K annual production run. Increase to 400K in the future. Production will start in 2026. So production is starting in 2026. What are we? 3 years away from this? But it will be revealed this year. This is how important this vehicle is for Rivian. Right now, what the company is doing, they're building new factories. They're ramping up new factories slowly but surely because when they do release this vehicle, they want to know in confidence that they can produce this vehicle at high numbers because it's going to sell. People want more SUVs, but more importantly, they want electric SUVs that are more affordable. It's fair to say that this is going to be a success for Rivian. I just hope it looks great. I just hope it looks really great. Rivian vehicles already looks great, so I don't think we have to worry. They do make great looking vehicle. The R2 will be a mid-size electric SUV, smaller and more affordable than the R1T and R1S, smaller and more affordable. I'm going to keep that in mind because it kind of has to be. That's kind of the point. But what I'm seeing here, I don't know. That still looks like a big SUV. Don't get me wrong. This is not criticism. I'm just curious and excited. Even more interesting, what I want to take a look at is this, the updates from the Rivian, Georgia factory. This is some drone footage, and I'm just curious about the scale of this project, the size of the factory. So if we want to understand scale of the factory and size of the factory, this is what it could look like. This is just a this is just the update of what's currently going on. But this, on the other hand, that's very interesting. As you can see, they're doing it quite different from a Tesla factory. Tesla factory has everything under one roof. Makes it more seamless, makes it more straightforward, makes the process faster, while Rivian seems to be going away with a more traditional car factory. They've got things set up in different parts of the building. That comes with its advantage and also disadvantages. You can see it's got generally assembly separated, and I think that's warehouse attached to general assembly. Over on the left hand side, they've got stamping, body, and a little bit lower than that, they've got the paint. Now you can see the general assembly, body, paint, all of that is relatively close by. It seems that they might have some plans to get those vehicles from factory to factory on the premises. That's going to be very interesting. I'm really curious. Why don't more companies, especially like Rivian, do what Tesla's done with Tesla Gigafactory? Was it just Elon Musk being obsessed with the idea of a gigafactory and how it's shaped and how it's designed, the simplicity? Is it better to have everything under one building, but in different situated compartments or separate buildings? But nevertheless, I'm just happy we're getting a factory from Rivian and another factory. Now, to be honest, the Rivian shares have been going down again, and I said this company was just around fair value at around 18 billion in market cap. Now it's 17.3 billion in market cap, and it looks to be going down just a little bit. So is Tesla. Quite a few EV companies are going down, including Polestar as well, and EV charging companies. I don't see this as a bad thing. I like cheap shares. I appreciate that. So I'm always looking for more opportunities to invest in a Rivian company, especially at its valuation. If not cheaper, that'll be even better. Now, it's not financial advice, it's just my opinion. But I still think that this company is undervalued for everything that they're doing. They are moving slow, but we all remember that Tesla used to move very slow. It took them a while before they got everything together. It doesn't happen overnight. It does take time. This is a business that you have to be involved for the long haul, for the long run. It's not a short-term win business. It's a long-term perspective business. I like the approach that Rivian has taken. I don't agree with everything, but I do like the approach in general. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Now, what I do like about the R2 is that this illustration from car and driver is quite impressive, and it's more along the lines of accurate that I'd like to see from Rivian. But still, I still think this is a big SUV. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm worried that it's a big SUV. I'm worried that it will cost Rivian too much to produce because they're trying to sell this thing as cheap as possible with as much additions as possible in terms of customization, but still an affordable SUV. But being able to make it as cheap as possible is crucial for the Rivian brand. But I do love this illustration. I think this is one of the most accurate interpretation I've seen of the design. I don't even know the final design, but in terms of my imagination of what Rivian would do, this is quite close. This is along the lines of a Rivian type of design. Now here's something impressive to keep in mind, the pricing and which one to buy. And here's how the pricing will go. For the Adventure, it's 40,000. This is dependent on the trim and options you choose. For the Adventure All-Terrain, it's 50,000 US dollars. And for the Launch Edition, that's 60,000 US dollars. Launch editions are becoming more and more popular for electric car brands, offering exclusive launch editions that are slightly different from the normal production models. In fact, I believe Polestar is doing something similar with the Polestar 6 California edition, and those will be in very limited quantity. I think it's like 300. I could be wrong, but it's going to be in very limited quantity. And after that, they'll produce the same vehicles, but different. It won't look like the California edition. The California edition is very straightforward to what the Polestar 6 has been in terms of concept to reality. But hey, let me know. Do you like this design interpretation by Car and Driver? I quite like it. I still think a little bit smaller. Yeah, I'm excited to see this thing when it is unveiled this year. So thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in our next video.